This video is brought to you by Squarespace. From custom domains to beautiful websites using their easily customizable templates that you can have up and running in minutes, e-commerce, email and email marketing, SEO, analytics, and scheduling, Squarespace does it all and has done it for us for the last 6 years. If you are a small to mid-sized business in any industry, Squarespace is the place to go for all of your website needs. Hop over to www.squarespace.com/Hugh for a free trial. And if you like what you see and want to move forward, receive 10% off your first order by using the discount code Hugh at checkout. Thanks, Squarespace. And before we go any further, a big thanks to B&H Photo and Video in New York City for lending us a pair of Voigtlanders for this review. Hey everybody, I'm Hugh Brownstone for Three Blind Men and an Elephant, and I'll cut to the chase because this has been another crazy month for video production. Our next Streets of New York workshop is only weeks away. It is sold out, and you can go onto the website and look to see what's happening in October and December. And as always, preparation is all. Anyway, here we go. 1. Voigtlander's 50mm f1.0 Nocton is an exceptionally compact, well-built, beautifully designed, wonderful in hand, super fast, tack sharp in the center, even wide open, manual focus only standard lens. 2. But what the heck were they thinking? How the heck is anyone supposed to reliably and consistently manually focus a 50mm lens at f1.0? 3. The thing of it is, this Nocton is one of the very few lenses for which I'm willing to entertain the idea that manual focus and character trump autofocus and optical perfection. That's because A, when you can nail focus, it indeed offers a beautiful, if imperfect render. Hold that thought. B, I suspect I'm not the only one to find reward in achieving critical focus out in the real world when the resultant shot is worth it. This is the opposite of shooting fish in a barrel, and it's called mastery. Yeah, okay, sometimes it's called luck. C, the Nocton is less expensive and dramatically smaller and lighter than any OEM autofocusing 50 f1.0 because there are no autofocusing 50mm f1.0s of which I'm aware, but it is still less expensive and dramatically smaller and lighter than any OEM autofocusing f1.2. I'm talking about Nikon's $2,100 1.09 kilogram Z50 1.2, Canon's almost as big and heavy, but even more expensive $2,300 950 gram RF 51.2, and Sony's $1,900 778 gram 51.2 G Master. D, it's actually easier to autofocus manually than I'd anticipated because it is so shallow, but that does not make it easy. I'd rate difficulty of achieving focus reliably from most difficult to easiest, and easy is relative. This way. Most difficult, true rangefinder focusing. Less difficult, a good 3.7 million dot EVF. Easier than that, the Nikon ZF's 3.7 million dot EVF in particular because of the camera's unique manual focus assists. Easiest of all by a significant margin, the 9.44 million dot of our Sony a7R5. But all bets are off when light or contrast are low, and the only way to manually focus with an EVF is by turning focus peaking off and relying instead on very high magnification, which is why the 9.44 million dot EVF is really a must. At least if you're like me, I am as annoyed by my eyes at this age as I am with Siri on my iPhone 14 Pro. E, the character of the Nocton is not only the render, but the significant chromatic aberration wide open. I found it to have more chromatic aberration at 1.0 than I'm used to at 1.2, 1.4, or f2 with autofocusing 50s I've recently had in hand, and chromatic aberration does drive me crazy. But I was able to deal with it because I usually shoot black and white anyway, at which point this particular bit of character fades into nothingness as an issue for me. Although I also saw a dramatic internal reflection in one of my shots, unique in my experience, that irked me, but that I probably could have taken out with generative AI. But I left it in so you could see it, and I could see if I might come to actually appreciate it, character and all. No. 4. Still, the Nocton is also so dramatically smaller, lighter, and less expensive than the manual focus lenses nearest to it. Think Nikon's Nikkor Z58 f/0.95 Noct, or Leica's $13,000, as I mentioned at the outset, 700-gram f/0.95 Noctilux, that if I had to have a manual focus 50 or 58 1.0 or faster, I'd absolutely go for the Voigtla over these two for the health of my back and wallet. 5. With this said, however, A, you have to ask yourself precisely why that extra half or full stop of light over 1.2 or 1.4 respectively is worth it to you. B, you have to ask yourself what bits of character are truly acceptable to you under what circumstances. C, although still lighter and smaller than Sigma's new and outstanding autofocusing 51.2, the Voigtla is now more expensive and yeah, it doesn't autofocus. And D, although smaller and lighter than Sony and Sigma autofocusing 51.4s, neither Nikon nor Canon offer a 1.4 in the most current Z and RF mounts respectively. The Voigtla is more expensive and right, still doesn't autofocus. 6. Never mind all of that. At a practical level, shooting 51.0, never mind a 0.95, wide open at portrait distances, will often be perceived as too shallow. Even a distance as short as between a subject's cornea and eyeglass frame may not allow both to be in focus. Finally, 7. And this is a real kick in the head for me. Sigma's $700, 405-gram, 65mm f2.A is marginally larger, but lighter and less than half the price of the Voigtla with autofocus. B offers, at the same distance wide open at its maximum aperture of f2, what is essentially the same depth of field as the Voigtla at f1. C, I'm repeating myself because it matters. Say it with me now. It has autofocus. D, now, sorry about this. Claudia wouldn't let me show the photos, but it is as sharp as or sharper than the Voigtla at each lens's maximum aperture. It is E as sharp or sharper than the Voigtla when both lenses are set to f2. And F, it has marginally better chromatic aberration performance to boot, although by f2 the Voigtla does have it pretty well tamed. All of which leaves us where? The long and short of it is this. First, if you own an M camera and truly want a 1.0 or faster maximum aperture manually focusing 50, the Voigtla 51.0 Nocton is a no-brainer. It is far less expensive, smaller and lighter than the Leica Noctilux 50mm f/0.95. Get the Voigtla, enjoy it, invest or blow the almost 12 large you would save over a new Noctilux, however you want. Yeah, okay, no, don't blow that. That's just ugly. But you'd better be really, really sure you want what it gives you, what it uniquely gives you, because ultimate corner-to-corner resolution, chromatic aberration performance, and freedom from ghosting wide open are not reasons to buy it. Voigtla's own, closing in on half the price, less than half the weight, $1,000, 228-gram Apolanthar 50mm f2 is one heck of an alternative if you're willing to give up 2 stops. I know, I own one. Second, if you own a Leica SL, SL2 or SL3, I'll tell you that it's an easier focusing experience than on any M because of the far better EVF than even the M11's VisoFlex 2. And you get the benefits of a better balance in hand and IBIS, which is no small thing. Once you've experienced it, you'll be loath to go without it. Oh, and then it's weather resistant the way the M isn't. But I'd still look seriously at Sigma's autofocusing 51.2, 51.4, or 65mm f2. Very seriously. Third, if you insist on an uber-fast manual focus 50 and you shoot with a Nikon Z system, I'd say buy the Voigtla over the Nocton with the same congrats and caveats I offered to Leica shooters. Unlike the M-mount version, however, the Z-mount version of the Nocton, as is the case actually for the other mirrorless camera mounts Voigtla supports, Sony FE and Canon RF, has electrical contacts allowing it to pass data to the body in real time. Useful when searching your photo library afterwards, useful in the moment when shooting to help the camera figure out optimal IBIS parameters. But I'd also tell you that if you don't need more than 24 megapixels, get a ZF to go with it. That's because the ZF in particular, as I mentioned earlier, has the best manual focus assists in the business. The company has figured out how to seamlessly integrate the active UI of their autofocus system with manual focus confirmation. I don't know of any other camera that can do this as of the recording of this video. Although, you might really want to consider, retro feel and vibe aside, Nikon's brilliant and affordable autofocusing 51.8S. It's far better than its pedestrian specs, industrial design, and price would indicate. One of my favorite 50s of all time. With all of this said, however, it does bear repeating that the Nocton was easier to focus on my M11 and SL3 than I had expected, and this blunted the advantage of the ZF's manual focus assists out in the real world to an extent I hadn't anticipated. Fourth, if you're a Sony shooter, you have the option of the 9.44 million dot EVF found in our A7R5 and the A1, and this means you have by far the best tool available to coax the most out of the Nocton. Using the M-mount version with a cheap adapter was a revelatory experience photographing Claudia, but again, you'll have to take my word for it or else I'll have marital issues, and do get the Sony native mount for the electrical contacts. Even so, I'd again counsel you to think carefully about what you want versus what you truly need. The $1,300 516-gram autofocusing 51.4 G Master likely to generate far more keepers where technical perfection is the primary consideration, while being in closer in size to the Nocton than the $1,900 778-gram 51.2 G Master. Finally. Fifth, the one use case, to my surprise, where I found having the 51.0 Nocton on my SL3 to be the most enjoyable and rewarding, was as a super stealthy telephoto lens wide open on the streets of New York, using the power of the SL3's 60 megapixels in post to crop the crap out of the image and have it still hold up, like this. In the end, irrespective of what brand of camera you use, if Voigtla's 51.0 Nocton offers you what you want uniquely, and what and how you shoot allow you the time to dial it in, the Voigtla is, somewhat to my astonishment, highly recommended. That's so what. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. From custom domains to beautiful websites using their easily customizable templates that you can have up and running in minutes, e-commerce, email and email marketing, SEO, analytics, and scheduling, Squarespace does it all and has done it for us for the last 6 years. If you are a small to mid-sized business in any industry, Squarespace is the place to go for all of your website needs. Hop over to www.squarespace.com/Hugh for a free trial, and if you like what you see and want to move forward, receive 10% off your first order by using the discount code HUGH at checkout. Thanks, Squarespace. If you like what you've seen here today, please give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, join the conversation in the comments section below because this is an exceptional audience. If you'd like help with a portfolio review, gear selection, finding or honing your artistic voice, sign up for a one-on-one mentoring video call via Zoom at 3bmep.com/booking. Finally, please consider supporting our work by using the no-cost-to-you affiliate links down below, sending us coffee money via PayPal, or most especially, joining us on Patreon, links down below as well. However you choose to support us, as always, we thank you for it.